Welcome to Food for Thought, Unit 8. The first half of the 20th century was characterized by a process of industrialization of the agriculture in North America and Europe. After World War II, it was the turn of the Global South. The so-called Green Revolution was an intent to fight hunger and food shortages in the Global South. The solution, developed by Western politics, scientists and economists, was an entire transformation of the agriculture in the Global South, replacing the former traditional peasant agriculture with, by then, widely unknown techniques in these countries. This transformation included or involved the implementation of fertilizers, pesticides, machinery, agricultural machinery, irrigation systems and the so-called high-yielding varieties, HYVs. The Green Revolution transformed the agriculture in the developing nations to an extent that already in 1970, 70% of the global rice, wheat and corn production was done with high-yielding varieties. Despite considerable yield increases as consequences of the Green Revolution, the agro-ecosystems became more and more dependent on synthetic inputs. The most outstanding transformations of agriculture as consequences of the Green Revolution were realized in two countries, Mexico and India. Today Mexico serves as classical example for the Green Revolution's achievements, but also for its failures. As in many developing countries, agricultural universities and faculties had to be built up all over Mexico. Mexico, as other countries, received scientific advice from international organizations such as CICHAR and also a lot of money from institutions like the World Bank and also international transnational companies. The transformation of the agriculture of a country like Mexico, which used to be characterized by small-scale peasant agriculture, required thousands of agronomists, all aligned with the spirit of the Green Revolution. Engineers were sent to all rural areas, embedded in an absolutely new and newly built extension system. As a result, there was an agronomist in almost every village of Mexico. The job of these agronomists was to deliver the so-called technology packages and to distribute them. These packages included seeds and agrochemicals, and also obviously to train the farmers. At least in the beginning, these packages were for free. When the agroecosystems became more and more dependent or even addicted on these agrochemicals, farmers had to start to buy these products. The initial euphoria about the Green Revolution was soon followed by a big wave of criticism. And this criticism gave birth to the more modern interpretation of agroecology, not only as a science which observes agroecosystems, but as a real counterdraft to modern industrialized farming. Since the Green Revolution involved the use of only a handful plant species and varieties in all the world, the consequence was a tremendous loss of agrobiodiversity. Not only do HIVs demand more nutrients, they also demand more water. This means that irrigation systems have to be installed. Additionally, HIVs only grow on so-called clean fields. Clean fields mean that there should be any cover material or living plant between the crop plants. Well, a consequence of the Green Revolution obviously was a decrease of the water tables. Combined with the use of highly soluble synthetic fertilizers, the water leaching also caused the salinizations of the groundwater reserves. By the way, what do you think pollutes more? Groundwater nitrate coming from synthetic fertilizers or groundwater nitrate that comes from organic fertilizers such as manure? Well, the answer is nitrate is nitrate. Groundwater does not care where the nitrate comes from. Obviously, the use of synthetic products causes a quicker salinization or a quicker leaching of the nitrate from the soil to the water. But an excessive use of organic fertilizers is as harmful as an excessive use of synthetic fertilizers. The difference between organic and synthetic fertilizers is that the leaching with the synthetic products is immediate. In turn, if you use organic products, the mineralization process is much slower, and this avoids the risk of soil and groundwater contamination. Soil compaction and erosion were the result of deep bluffing, the use of heavy machinery for almost all agricultural activities, and soils with a very low organic matter content. This especially because of few organic inputs applied to the soils. And there were also 2 up to 3 harvests a year on each field without almost any fallow periods. Thus, a further consequence of the Green Revolution was the abandonment of biodiverse farming and a consequent increase in pest and weed populations. Pests usually feed on a single crop, so each pest or every pest has its favorite meal. But if you were a pest, where would you go? To a monocropping area where the table is set with your favorite meal, or to a polycropping field where there are plenty of different plants to eat and you would not like everything? The simplification of the cropping systems also decreased the natural control by pest parasiting species. Insects, but also microorganisms such as bacteria, virus and fungi became more and more adapted and even resistant to the agrochemicals. Yet not only the agrochemicals changed the countryside in Mexico, but there were also social consequences. Some farmers made big money with commercial large-scale monocropping, earning sufficient money so as to squeeze peasants to very remote, less fertile regions. For many of these peasants, this meant the abandonment of agriculture. Mechanization also pushed down wages in the countryside and rural employment in general. The consequence was a tremendous rural exodus, which was maybe decreasing food shortages in the countryside, but increasing the hunger in the big cities. Today, CITRA, World Bank and other global players admit some mistakes of the Green Revolution. And their proposal is to implement a new green revolution, especially in Africa. Once more, HIVs are sold as solution to the problems. But this time, these HIVs should be drought and pest-resistant GMOs, allegedly sustainable solutions for agriculture. Hence, the main reason for environmental degradation is ignored. Big-scale monocropping. These concepts are sold under the labels of sustainable intensification, climate-smart agriculture, sustainable agriculture in general, but please be careful with these fake concepts. There is only one agroecology, and this is the one we are teaching in this course.